Welcome to the 165th episode of the So Video Games podcast, where we talk about any game at all, including new stuff, old stuff, and anything in between. If we are playing it, we will be talking about it. Today, we are recording on February 16th, 2020. My name is Brad Galloway. I am the editor of GameCritics.com, and I am 50% of this show. With me is co-host and the man who pours concrete like a pro, Carlos Rodella.
How you doing? I have just got done with a job, and man, my hands are dirty.
Well, you better wash them off, because we got to talk about some games here, buddy. You don't want to get that wet concrete on your controllers.
Actually, now that I come to think about it, I might have concrete on my hands, and they might turn into stone during this podcast.
If I hear some really heavy keyboard taps, I will know what happened.
Okay.
Excellent, excellent. Well, welcome back, folks. Before we kick things off this week, just a quick reminder, as always, if you have thoughts, comments, feedback, requests, whatever, you can contact us. It's sovideogamespodcast@gmail.com. And I don't have any housekeeping this week. Carlos, you got anything to bring up before we dive into it?
Zero housekeeping from me.
All right, it's a clean house this week. I say let's just get into it. Carlos, as usual, you will kick us off with random, cheap, and/or free indie game, probably on PC. Let us have it, sir.
This one's great. I'm so excited about this game. It is a demo on the PC. I got it on Steam. So pretty easy to do. Go to Steam, type in the name of this game I'm about to tell you, and you get a free game for a little while.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal.
Yeah. And they get you up to the point where you realize you really want to play this game, and then they're like, okay, buy the game, which the game is only $12, I think, 12 or $13.
Okay.
Totally worth the price of admission, and I'll explain why. The game is called Little Misfortune.
Is that Little Miss as in like MISS?
Yes. Well, I think it's just, man, if we did homework for this show, it'd be a whole different show. It's all one word, though, Misfortune. So it's like a play on words,
gotcha.
you know?
Gotcha. Okay.
I think it's just MIS Fortune. So it's from Kill Monday Games, which I love that developer name because Mondays are terrible.
Can relate.
I think we all can. And this is a side-scrolling adventure game, point-and-click type adventure game. It does use controller support, so that's really awesome.
Good. That is a plus.
Yes.
For me, it's a must, but yeah.
Oh, it feels so good. I actually started the demo on a mouse and keyboard, then realized when I had bought the game I could go to gamepad. Highly recommend that if you have a gamepad. It's a little girl who is adorable. She has kind of a thick accent, kind of like a Slavic Russian accent, Polish, and it's very thick, and she's also like, what, let's say 8 or 9?
I thought you were going to say, and she's also very thick.
No. Well, your mind went somewhere else.
I mean, you kind of set it up. Okay, that's fine.
She's she's, a cute little, she might be a little,
Like a child, are we talking
She's
about?
a child, yeah.
Okay,
She's a kid.
All right.
So I'm not judging what she is, but all I know is that she's got a funny accent that is adorable. And I don't mean the accent itself is funny, as to how she delivers it. Because basically, the story is there's a narrator, and you don't know what his motives are, but he's talking to you originally to kind of present the story of this little girl, Little Misfortune, who has all these things around her terrible. Like she actually comes from an abusive household, which is pretty real shit.
Wait, is this like an emo indie sort of a thing?
Nope,
Because I thought you were describing a platformer.
I know it's not platform; it's just point and click, left to right.
So, okay, so like an adventure game.
Yeah,
sort of
adventure
thing?
game. You're only going left to right.
Point and click. Okay, is this pixel based?
Nope. It's just this beautiful like art style.
Okay.
And then there's actually animation like cartoons as cutscenes every once in a while.
Okay.
So what I mean by it being weird is she's got all these bad things that happen to her, but also her outlook is amazing because it's like she's like, oh, that's pretty bad, but you know what? Okay, it's fine. And by the way, I'm doing a terrible job in the accent. And I actually was practicing it earlier, and I've
Were you really? I want to hear the outtakes.
It's because I have these headphones on. People don't know, but when you have a headphones, you can't hear yourself. Anyways.
It's weird.
She's bestowed a lot of misfortune, and the narrator is talking to you originally and saying, like, look at this girl's life, and she doesn't know she's going to die. And then all of a sudden, she hears the narrator, and she's like, what is this about? Me dying? And so then the whole adventure is the narrator actually talks to her, mostly.
Okay.
And he's trying to bring her to somewhere, and you don't know why. You have no idea why. But along the way, there's all this really real, terrible stuff that is, messed up stuff, right? From her upbringing to the things she sees and dead crows and all this weird stuff. But then there's like really dark, sinister other stuff that flashes in and out, like otherworld, potentially monsters, like something else is at play. And so it is such a macabre, but also very funny. And I've never played a game like it. They made one game before this, and I forgot the name of it because I don't do any homework. I can't recommend this enough. As soon as we're done with this podcast, I'm going to finish it because I think it's a few-hour experience, and it is very good.
Is it? So I kind of like a couple questions. I kind of like point and clicks when they are not too crazy with the puzzles. So first question, like I know you only played the demo, but like based on
No. I bought
the
game. I bought the game after that.
Oh, but I thought you had only played. Yeah, you haven't played the full version yet, or you just
I'm playing the full version now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, that answers my second question. Was I was going to say, is this early access or is it finished? But you just answered that, so it's finished, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So as far as the puzzle goes, that's really what is the make or break point for me because I love point and clicks. I mean, they have to have humor. They have to be either really humorous or they have to have a great story. And since it's really hard to write a great story, I usually lean towards humor. But where they fall down for me is when they do those crazy puzzles. I feel like we've mentioned this before. I mean, I know that I'm kind of known for this in certain circles, but when you have a point and click puzzle that is like super obtuse, if your brain is not on the same wavelength as the developers, sometimes those can get really frustrating. And I don't like having to have an FAQ open when I'm playing a game because I just constantly get stuck. So based on what you've seen so far, like describe a little bit of the puzzles. Are they crazy? Are they obtuse? Do they make sense? Like what are you in for puzzle wise?
Well, you'll like it a lot. There's 0 puzzles.
0 puzzles? Then what do you do?
Yeah, so essentially this is actually riding this kind of new wave that it took off a little while ago. It's kind of coming back again, which is interactive fiction, right? Like this is actually very up the alley of what the game that I'm making, right? So text adventures are without the graphics, but this is essentially a lot of the same thing. You are following this girl around. You are making choices. Now, that's the big kind of gameplay mechanic is every once in a while you'll come across something and you will have to make a decision. Like, so some guy dropped his wallet. Do you want to return it to him or do you want to just take it? Like, those kind of things start popping up.
Okay.
And I feel like the voice wants you to do the bad things. That's just what I'm getting for a feeling of, you know?
Okay.
But so those decisions, supposedly at the end, are going to make a difference, which, you know, I love that kind of thing. So there's no real puzzles besides, like, every once in a while, like, I broke a vase in the beginning, and you had to, like, put it back together. So it was, like, literally, like, putting a piece of the puzzle, like, back together, make the vase back together. But that wasn't a puzzle. It was just, like, doing something. So here and there, there's things like that. You have your little hand and you kind of like move things around. But other than that, it's straight like making decisions and laughing at the really funny stuff and cringing at the really dark stuff.
Okay. So that makes sense. I mean, if it's more of a narrative presented in the style of a point and click adventure, I can kind of get what you're saying there.
Yeah, you're not combining items. You know, the thing, I don't like that shit. It's none of that.
Yeah. I can't stand when it's like you've got 19 things in your inventory. None of it makes sense. And so you're like, combine item 1 with item 2. Didn't work. Item 1 with item 3. That didn't work. You know, like I hate that shit. So
yeah, you're like hamster with balloon.
Yeah, no, nothing.
No,
yeah,
nothing.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
By the way, I will tell you one decision though. I'll share one decision I made. It's a mini spoiler, but there's so many decisions in the game. There was just a little puppy, and he was a cute little puppy, and he was playing by a tree, and it was like, do you want to play with a puppy or let it go? And I thought, this is a pretty macabre game. Like, if I let it go, it's going to go get run over by a car or something, you know? So I said, I'll just play with it. And so the voice gives you objects sometimes. And so it just gave you a little ball. And he's like, play with this, you know? So I played with the ball. I threw it at the dog. It hit a branch, and the branch fell over and killed the dog.
Oh, ooh, grim.
And then he was like, you better go tell the owner that you killed his dog. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that.
Or you can just fucking run away. You don't got to tell anybody. Random dog death. Who cares? Leave.
It gets dark, and then she is just the best writing her, because she literally goes through life and all this bad stuff's happening to her. And she's like, yeah, it's okay. And my favorite saying is, she says, yikes forever. And it's my new favorite saying.
Yikes forever.
Yikes forever. And I'm like, oh, you're adorable. Little Misfortune. I can't recommend it enough. Obviously, the demo's free, so go play it. And then you'll know right after that if you want to have it. And it's like $12, $13.
Cool. All
there
right.
it is.
Thank you very much. All right. Excellent. Any more random, cheap, and free games, or is that it for this
That
week?
was it. One and done. And I think you all should check it out.
Excellent. That does sound like an interesting one. I do like the narrative adventures, and especially I do like a little bit of creepy and funny mixed together. So that sounds pretty good. All right, over to me. I have a couple of betas I want to talk about. People on Twitter were telling me there were a couple things I should check out on the Xbox One. I have an Xbox One. I don't get onto it very often for a variety of reasons. It is not my preferred console. I'm not going to get into it now, but long story short, I just don't jump on the Xbox very often. But people are like, yeah, this is the weekend. You should check it out. And I'm like, fine. So they were correct. There were two betas, one better than the other one to check out. And these were, I believe, only available if you had Xbox Game Pass. So I forget, you don't have an Xbox, do you, Carlos?
No, I used to, and I'm waiting for the Series X now because it's just too close. So
okay, yeah. Okay, gotcha. So I have Game Pass because, I mean, as I have problems with Microsoft, but they've been trying to clean up their act lately. I do want to respect that they've been trying to turn things around. They're making great strides in accessibility, so they're not as bad as they used to be. But I still got a little bit of a chip on my shoulder against those guys. Anyway, that aside, Game Pass is, regardless of my feelings, a great deal. Probably the best deal out there if you want a game subscription service. And I believe both of these that I'm about to talk about were only available if you had Game Pass. So the first one was called West of Dead. It is a top-down shooter / run-based / roguelike game. The graphics are very, I guess, cel-shaded. You know, everybody remembers cel-shaded, where everything kind of came out looking like cartoons a while ago, and everything had like a thick black outline on it. It's very dark, almost reminiscent of, I don't know if anybody reads comics who listen to this podcast, or maybe you do, Carlos, but Mike Mignola, who was the creator of Hellboy, is very famous for a very black heavy style where he's got really thick lines, and like most of his pages are just like black. It's a very distinct look. And I feel like the people who made this game were probably fans of his. Do you know that style I'm talking about?
I do. I'm looking at the pictures right now, and it looks just like Hellboy, actually. Some of that kind of really, really dark shadows and like blocky almost.
Yeah, kind of blocky, kind of rough. I love that style, and I love Mignola's style. I mean, it's been copied endlessly by a number of people who are also fans. But I love his stuff. And so that was one of the things that caught my attention about this. But I also like roguelikes. I like run-based games, etc., etc. So this seemed like it was in the pocket for me. I don't know much about it because the beta doesn't really give you much to work with. You start off as a cowboy who is apparently dead because your head is a skull and it's on fire. You look a lot like a Western version of Ghost Rider, the Marvel comic character. And you walk through a saloon. The saloon bartender just says blah, 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 whatever. And then you enter like a dungeon. It looks like an underground, like a mine shaft or something. And as soon as you get inside, there are these zombies. Some zombies have guns, some don't. Some are just like, some have bombs, like sticks of dynamite, because it's like a Western theme, you know? And you just start shooting them. And that's basically all it is. You go from room to room shooting zombies and trying not to get shot. You can dodge. You can take cover behind like coffins. There's like coffins everywhere in this game. And that's basically about it. It seems like it's real early. Seems like it's real rough. The movement didn't feel great. The aiming really didn't feel great. I felt like it was very hard to line up targets, whereas the enemies never missed, which is really irritating. Because if you were not in cover when an enemy takes a shot, you're gonna get shot. Like it's either that or you have to dodge at like exactly the right time, which I found to be kind of difficult. I like the visual style, although it was really fucking dark. I think they kind of went overboard on the darkness to the point where sometimes the rooms are pitch black and you can kind of see where there's a lantern. So you got to like hustle over to the lantern real quick. But while you're doing that, like there's also enemies in the room. So I feel like they're kind of getting carried away with the darkness and the blackness. Like it's a video game. The video is very crucial because it's right there in the name. Video game. Video is like half the name.
It's the visual, the video visual.
Visual is a very important part of video game. So I feel like there's too much black. It was hard to read the screens. Just kind of hard to tell what was going on. Just very, very dark. But I like the concept. I would, and it's early. Like it's early. And I don't want to, drop the hammer on it or anything. It's clearly a beta. They say it's a beta, which is fine. But
are you playing with other people or is it just
solo? No. It's just you solo. You going into a dungeon. On my best run, and I didn't have very many good runs. On my best run, I picked up some random guns in the dungeon. So I'm guessing that, like most roguelikes, you're probably going to pick up a weapon as you go through different varieties of weapons. It seemed like there were some stat upgrades that you could pick up. But after I died, I got sent back to the beginning and I lost all the stuff. So it seems,
Ugh.
yeah, it seems pretty traditional in terms of that. I don't know if they're going to keep that for the final, but it's really hard. And also on top of being hard, it just feels really rough and the visuals weren't helping either. So I like what they're going for. Like I like undead cowboys with flaming heads, and I like Mike Mignola's visual style. I like roguelikes and run-based games, but I feel like they do not have this one dialed in quite yet. But beta early, it's not done.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I'm gonna see how they progress. I wouldn't be surprised if this game is amazing in 6 months. So that wouldn't surprise me.
I think that's a lot of these are going to be in that same camp where lots of times they just want to get people trying it out and seeing the world they built. And also, this has Ron Perlman in it, by the way. It says
he is the voice of your character, which is pretty cool.
Which again, Hellboy, right? So that's like a super Hellboy connection.
Oh God, I didn't even think about that till you mentioned it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, okay.
So they got a lot of things going for it in the style and stuff like that. Maybe they just got to work some kinks out and figure it out. So we'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch it. Seems like there's potential there. The other beta that was up this weekend is one that I'm actually extremely surprised by. I've been tweeting about it all weekend. You probably know what I'm going to talk about.
I do.
It's the new one from Ninja Theory, the creators of course, I can't name any of their games. What's Senua's Sacrifice? That's what I'm thinking. Senua's Sacrifice.
Oh, so good, yeah.
And they had Enslaved, which I thought was really great. They also had Heavenly Sword, which I wasn't really a big fan of, but I did like the visuals of that game. I didn't like playing it, but I like looking at it.
Hold on. Enslaved. People picked that game up. That game was great.
Enslaved was great. I love that game. Also, the best fucking Devil May Cry ever made was theirs. It was not Capcom's. It was DMC by Ninja Theory. That game was fucking rad as hell. I love that one. No? Not a fan?
No, I like it, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. It's just kind of that like down note to your voice.
No, I was like, oh yeah, that.
So Ninja Theory, they make some pretty good games. I wasn't a fan of their first one, but everyone since then has been pretty tight. So when they announced that their next game, instead of being a traditional single-player adventure like they've been doing, was going to be an online multiplayer sort of thing, everybody in the world went, what? And we all had this big question mark appear over our heads. It's called Bleeding Edge. It is now in closed beta, although I don't really think it's very closed because if you have Game Pass, then it is open for you. And I think a lot of people have Game Pass. So it's not really super closed in terms of betas.
Yeah, by the way, that terminology keeps changing because, full disclosure, we're working on a game that will have something similar, closed beta, open beta, early access, etc. And it's just like, how can you play it? And can you play it? That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think we've gotten pretty far afield from the actual traditional definition of what an alpha, what a beta, what a demo is. I mean, I think most people, when they think of betas these days, it's actually just a fucking demo is what it is. It's not a beta. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's semantics. That's game developer shit. We're not going to get into that now. Anyway, it's on Game Pass. If you have Game Pass on Xbox One, you can download it and try it for free right now. So it is basically a 4v4 online, kind of an Overwatch sort of a thing. But the difference is it is third person, so you can see your character at all times. And your character, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe like 10 characters to choose from now, are split between some characters being melee and some characters being ranged. So you've got your frontline attackers who all have like swords or claws or something like that. And then you've got a group of characters who have guns or they can shoot things that are not guns. And then you've got a couple that are kind of like tanks or bruisers. I like the way that they've split it up because the people who are projectile users feel very different from the people who are the melee users. Like you right away pick up on that you play them very differently. And they're usually more fragile. So I like the way that kind of balances out. And the thing that I like also about it is the visual style. Ninja Theory has created a bunch of like crazy characters for this game. And when I got to admit, I got to be honest, when I saw the trailer for this game, I'm like, this looks like it's terrible. And when I jumped into it, within 5 minutes, I was like, oh, wait, no, I'm wrong. This is awesome. It's actually really good.
I know. I saw you tweeting so many pictures of different characters. You're like, this guy's great. This guy's great. This guy's great.
Yeah, once I really got into it and started taking the time to look at it, I really like the character design a lot. My favorite guy so far is a cybernetic snake, which is welded to the body of a zombie. Like the snake is coming out of his spine and it's looping around and it's kind of acting like his right arm. And his actual body is like an undead, rotten zombie. It's super gross. But he's a really fun character to play. I like him a lot. He can shoot venom. He has like heals plus damage dealing, and he can like shoot curses and stuff. He's pretty cool. But there's a whole bunch of different varieties of characters, and like it seems like a lot of the characters are disabled in one way or another. Many of them are like missing limbs, or they have like floating wheelchairs, or they have all sorts of stuff. So they're taking a real different edge to like how the character is designed, and I think it's really fucking cool. Like one lady who's actually really neat. She, I guess, was paralyzed from the waist down, and they gave her like these cybernetic legs, but they're like these giant fucking like killer ostrich legs, and she like kind of looks like a bird. It's fucking bonkers, but like when you see her in action, you're like, oh my god, that looks amazing. Like she's like running really fast, and she can like scratch you with her bird claws and stuff. Like it looks really fucking cool.
So wait, what's a match like? So like, give me like a process of like you go in, you're in the lobby, you join up with other people.
So right now it's in the beta. There's no lobby or anything. Like you can tell they're just like, this is just like, hey, we're just getting this up and running. It's really super early. So what you do basically is you just say play. Yes. You start the game. It'll automatically assign you to one of the 2 game modes. And again, beta early. It's not the finished version. One game mode is like point control, where there's like 3 points on a map, and you just like got to babysit them. And you know, as long as you keep control of a point, it'll click down some points, and whoever gets to 500 points first wins or something. Pretty standard mode. The other mode is where you have to hunt down these items that are scattered around the map. You get those items, bring them back to a point, and deposit them, and then you get points for that. So both the modes, very straightforward, very approachable, and easy to understand so far. You just click yes, start a match. The game will automatically assign you to one of those modes, whatever one is running, whatever one is open. You do not at this point, you do not have a friends list. There's nothing like that. You just join. I think there are some options that where you can maybe like change whether or not you can randomly get grouped up with friends or something. I haven't dug into the options too much, but it's basically bare bones right now.
But how many people are you being joined up with?
4v4. So
4v4.
It's always a team of 4 versus always a team of 4. There's no solo modes so far. Nothing smaller than 4v4. But it feels like a good number of characters. So you jump into a map, and you just go at it. Like you try to stay together. There is so there's a couple things that are really interesting. So one, they've taken some feedback from other games, and they've given each character a hoverboard. So like when you're out of the action, instead of just like running towards where it is, you can make this little hoverboard appear, and you can zoom to get back to the action a lot faster, which I think is a good idea because, you don't want to be running like from one end of the map to the other. You want to get to where the action is, and that really helps. But the other thing is there is a ton of accessibility options. I mean, as soon as you start the game up, it's like right on the home page where it says, push X to go into accessibility. And it's not options, it's accessibility options. And there are a shitload of options in there. There's like color blindness, the intensity of the color blindness. There's font size. There is a really cool feature where if people are talking on team chat, it'll turn that spoken voice into text on your screen, so it does voice to text, which is amazing. I love that.
That is amazing. Yeah.
So like if you don't have a headset, or if you are a deaf player and you cannot hear what people are saying on team chat, I mean, you have emotes to reply back, but at least you can hear what people are saying, so they could tell you and see that text chat come up, which is fucking awesome. There's a whole like vibration on or off, or there's like a depth of field thing. So there's all sorts of different accessibility options. I'm trying to think of a game that has more accessibility than this one. There may be one, awesome, but I'm not aware of it. But this one has a ton of accessibility options, which I think is amazing.
My biggest question is because it's definitely in the news everywhere. Everyone's talking about this game right now. And by the way, they're having another beta, or whatever you want to call it, on March 13th, I think. So probably really soon they're doing another one. Again, full disclosure, it's hard not to talk about the game that we're working on, because the reason why I like that game is because I don't know what each match is going to be like, right? So like, because there's PvE in that game, and other online shooters have those, but those usually kind of have an element of, I don't know what's going to happen this match, right? Like other things are out there, not just players, and we're not all just trying to do the same thing. So that kind of chaos is why I like scavengers. But when I go to new games, because I want to try a bunch of these shooter games, if it's rinse and repeat and do the same thing, I usually get out of there. You know what I mean? As soon as possible, because I don't want to do the same thing a million times. Now I know it's early because it's like, not done. But do you think the character abilities or something about the world itself will keep you coming back?
Well, I mean, I think it depends. I mean, number one, I really like the characters a lot. So that, for me, goes a long way. It's not going to carry it all the way, but I do really like the characters. So I think that's a big plus. But it's kind of like Overwatch, where it's like if you're the kind of person who likes to play Overwatch, where there's a variety of maps and there's, different modes and stuff like that. But, you know what you're getting in for, like when you play Overwatch. Like there's not any randomness from the world. It's basically just about the skill of playing, working with your team. If you like that kind of a game, that's what this game seems like. So if you get bored of like the Overwatch style game, probably not for you. And in general, I don't play those games very often. I don't know that I'm going to go the distance on this one. I don't know that I'm going to go all in, but like just from this weekend of beta, I played it a bunch last night. I played it a bunch this morning. I mean, I like the ideas. I like the way it feels very different from Overwatch. It looks very different from Overwatch. And I liked Overwatch. I played it for about a year and had a pretty good time with it.
It made a great first showing is what you're saying.
Yeah, very good first impression. I really like the direction it's going. I like the ideas on display. I don't play a lot of these games, but I might consider playing this one. It's kind of like when Apex Legends came out. I played that for like maybe 1 or 2 days and I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm not interested. It did not catch me, but this one caught me. Like I thought this one was neat.
Right.
And I haven't really gotten into one since Overwatch. So I'll keep an eye on it. I'm very excited. And with Ninja Theory behind it, I mean, I kind of like that studio anyway. So now that I've got some hands on, I'm more inclined to give them the benefit of the doubt. That trailer was kind of abysmal, but now that I'm playing it, I see what they were trying to do. And I think they should get a new trailer going because I don't think it sells the game very well. But I like it. I like it a lot. And I love these characters. I want action figures of all the characters, which I think is a really big selling point to me. So
yeah, trailers can go left or right. They can really kind of sell it or kind of hurt it. Especially also if you pick the idea of doing cinematic instead of gameplay. Ugh.
Yeah, totally.
Just recently, what was it?
Don't do that.
Yeah, I forgot what game it was. Some game did that, and I was like, listen, I don't even know what it is though. So I'll check it out. I like the characters too. Every single screenshot you tweeted seemed like really cool characters, and that's like. Yeah, it definitely does go a long way. And also that studio, like I trust them pretty well, based on other games. So I'll check it out when I get my Xbox Series X. So not for a while.
By the time you're ready to download this game on your future Xbox, it'll be like super polished and ready to go. And it'll have all these features.
There you go.
Who knows?
Yeah. Cool.
All right. That's Bleeding Edge, currently in beta. I don't know how long the beta is running, but Carlos, you mentioned another beta is coming up. And currently it is Xbox One exclusive because Microsoft bought Ninja Theory. So they are a second party, I guess is what you would call them now, I suppose. All right. Anyway, so that's Bleeding Edge and also West of Dead, both in beta on Game Pass right now. Carlos, back to you, sir. We are going to be talking about Not Tonight.
Yes, finally.
Yeah, absolutely. I know nothing about this game other than the title. So please, sir, fill us in.
Yeah, so this is on the Switch, and I had this a little while ago. It got put in the back burner because of, reasons. Video game reasons, mainly. It's a super beautiful pixel art, 2D scrolling adventure game. The only actual gameplay loop is a kind of Papers, Please, you play a bouncer. So you are a bouncer at a nightclub, and your job is to, essentially in the beginning, really just check IDs. And you need to see if they can get into the club or not. But that is kind of the game mechanic. The actual adventure game itself and the story is about Brexit, of all things.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, do they just come out and say it?
Yeah, you're in the kind of a future, like a future that probably isn't here yet, but like you're essentially annexed away from other British people. Now, I'm going to put an asterisk and say I have no fucking clue about what's going on with Brexit. It's confusing as shit to me. But essentially it sounds like you are like, it's like a class system has happened and you are not the cool class anymore, right? You are the class of citizen in Britain who was like ousted and not cool. And you basically, like there's a lot of like authoritarianism and like police state type mentality going on in this place. Like at some point you're in your apartment and the police just knocks and you're like afraid because you don't know what could happen.
So it's like real life then.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, but it's in this kind of interesting setup where you have an apartment and you can walk around your apartment and you have a phone, of course, a smartphone, and you can check the news and there's always like updates on the Brexit stuff and updates on different jobs you can get. It's because you can potentially get different jobs and you're just making it, and it's a pretty sad real life story about this guy who's just making it and trying to get work. And so you start off the game by actually, going to a job you found on your phone and going down to the local bar and becoming a bouncer. And in the beginning, it's like, just check the ID to make sure this person's of age, right?
Okay.
But then after that, it's like, actually, you have to check if they're of age and supposed to be, it's not expired, right? So those are two different things. So they just keep adding things to things you need to check on this ID. And then by doing that, you make more money, and you're basically like a better bouncer, and you're trying to go up the ranks of being a bouncer. Now, Now I think that because I haven't got far enough, I think you can actually get other types of jobs. But I'm feeling like the mechanic is the same thing, which is like you're checking something, and that means if you're doing your job good or not.
Interesting. So we're getting a little subgenre then, because I mean, it seems like Papers, Please, if I'm not mistaken, is the one that kind of kicked off this whole like checking details sort of a game. I don't even know what you would call this thing. I played Peace Death, and I talked about it a couple weeks ago. Still playing it on the Switch, where you play a Grim Reaper who is checking whether people go to heaven or hell. And now we're talking about Not Tonight, where you're a bouncer, like checking IDs. So like the checking subgenre, checking your. I don't even know. We got to come up with a catchy title for this, because I don't feel like people have coined it yet.
It's like what is the thing to call it? Because it definitely feels like that is definitely a genre. What was that one, the dark kind of black and white game that I didn't like, but it was kind of like that too. They had sections of the game that were like you had to do some paperwork and check things. But then,
I think I know the one you're talking about. Were the people kind of like black blobby people?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. I do not remember what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Anyway,
at least one more in the checking genre.
Yeah, the checking genre, but also sometimes it's a function in a game, but this is, I think, what it seems like. It seems like it's most of the actual game in this game. Now, here's my biggest pet peeve of the game. Okay. I absolutely love the art style. It is like perfect pixel art, and I know how hard pixel art is to make. I tried for a little while for one game, and it's fucking difficult. And by the way, if you look at that game, it's called That Gold Is Mine. Google it. It's like an abysmal attempt at drawing a little old man. And I was like, it took me forever. So this stuff is beautiful, but it's a Switch. And this is going to be my pet peeve for the show now for all year.
Uh-oh.
What am I going to say?
Is it too small?
The writing is too small.
The text is too small?
And the whole thing is you're checking IDs, Brad.
Oh, no.
What am I checking the date on their birth, and you're saying I can't see it? Now, I have 20/20 vision. Humble brag. But
is it a humble brag if you say humble brag?
No, it isn't. But
I don't think it is.
Okay, so I'm bragging. But
just to be clear.
That's also just absolute luck. So I have good vision, and I'm struggling, and I have good vision. Are you kidding me? Other people?
Man.
So that was my biggest pet peeve. It wasn't really the repetition, because I actually started getting into kind of a funness to it, because the sound's really good too, and the story, you kind of want to see what happens with this guy who's down and out in his luck, and what's going to happen with this kind of authoritarian kind of like government, and the fact that you're not like. It was really interesting to play from a character who's not like a second-class citizen, right?
Yeah.
It was like, no, you're not as cool as the rest of other people in the UK, so you have to like work your way out of that. Very interesting idea. It's a genre of its own. My only pet peeve is the text is fuck all small, like weird small. Like there's no reason.
Man.
There's no reason. There's so much real estate on the screen that I feel like they just waste on other things.
See, all right, I gotta just get on my soapbox for a second here, dude, because I love the Switch, and in fact,
did I just trigger you? By the way, I just triggered you.
You triggered me. You triggered me because, man, it's funny because literally last night I got in bed and I had my Switch and I'm looking at the games in my library and I wanted to download something that I had to delete because I didn't have enough space, and I'm looking at what I got and I'm like, damn it, I fucking love the Switch. If all I had was a Switch, I think I'd be okay. Like, I think I'd be all right if this was my only system, because I got so many games that I love on this system, and it's just right up my alley, and it's just like Vita Part 2, and I love the Vita so much, and I'm like, man, loving this shit. But the problem is that the thing I love about this game, and I bet the thing that you're going to love about it too, is like all the indies, but it's like you gotta go one step further, game developer people out there. You cannot just port your game. You must port the game, but you must fucking enlarge the text.
Yes.
Like, you must make it readable. That screen is so much smaller than a PC screen. It's so much smaller than a TV screen. But it's a good screen. Like, games look good on that screen. Like, it's not microscopic. You've got real estate, like you said. You just have to take that extra step, make that motherfucking text like 3 notches bigger so we can read it. You got to take that step.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to change the name of our podcast from here on out until they change it. And it's going to be called the So Video Games Please Increase the Size of Your Text podcast.
Not sure we're going to do that, but
Okay,
I'll take
we're
it
not-
under
we're not gonna
advisement.
do it.
Okay, maybe not. But it's got to be done. It's got to be done.
Let's move on and also increase your text, motherfuckers. Because I kind of enjoyed that game. Like, I really want to know what's going to happen. I'm going to continue with it, you know?
Well, I got to ask you then. I got to ask you because as you were talking about this, I think I kind of do like the checking genre. I wasn't sure if I did, but I've played 2 or 3 of them now, and I kind of have a good time with them. So you've got me kind of interested in this one. I mean, maybe not really in the Brexit angle, but like having a guy trying to work his way up and doing these shitty jobs. That sounds like, a game that I might be interested in checking out. But would you say that the text is so small that you do not recommend people play it on the Switch?
Here's why I can't tell, because if I get further, I should give you an update, because if I get further, the jobs might change, and if the jobs change, maybe the placement of where they're putting that ID, or maybe it's not an ID anymore, I don't do any homework, so I don't know if the jobs change. But if they do, maybe that text is a little easier to read, is all I'm thinking. But if it's the same job and I'm always like checking IDs for the rest of the game, then fuck that game. Like, I won't be able to finish it because it's just too hard. But if it changes a little bit, and by the way, that's too harsh to say fuck that game, because I really enjoy a lot of it, and it's doing something that other games aren't doing. But just, I don't know. I don't know the answer.
I mean, if it's hard because it's hard, that's one thing. If it's hard because you can't read the text, that is I think that is in fuck that game territory. I think it's fair to say that.
Well, let me do an update, and then we can decide if I'm going to say that or not.
Okay, do an update. Check back with us next time. We'll see how it goes, because I am a little bit curious about this one. But if I can't read it, it's kind of a problem. Again, getting back to the video and video games. Text is part of the video. Video games, it's right there in the title. You must focus on the video, folks. You must. Mm-hmm. All right. I think we've got 2 more games, and then we've got some listener Q&A here. I'm going to talk about Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. Been playing this on Switch for the last week or so. Friend of mine, Mac Daddy Mel B, who is on Twitter, I forget what we were talking. We were talking about something, and he's like, "Oh, Brad, you should totally play this game." And I'm like, "I think I looked at it, and what's good about it?" He's like, "Man, this is your shit. You're gonna like this. It's really, really good." And I remember looking at it a while. It came out in 2018, maybe 17, and I remember being like, "Whatever." I just didn't even give it 2 seconds. But he's like, no, you got to come back. You got to play this. I'm playing it now. It's dope. It's the shit. You're gonna like it. And I'm like, okay. And he was giving it the hard sell, man. He brought it up like a couple times. And I'm like, all right, he's real enthusiastic about this, and he's really pushing it hard. He must think I'm going to like this. And it just so happened that game was on sale for half price, and I'm like, well, all right, I'll give it a shot.
On the Switch.
On the Switch. And I got to say, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom is fucking dope. It is so good. He was dead on with his recommendation. I'm very glad. Mac Daddy MLB, please, thank you very much for recommending this. I really appreciate it. This has been a very bright spot in my 2020. I love this game. So what is it? People tell me that it is a continuation of the Wonder Boy series from
I was just going to say that. Yeah, I know Wonder Boy. I played Wonder Boy games.
Okay.
Played them on the Sega Master System, and then later on the Genesis. But yeah, I played these games.
I don't know that I've ever played a Wonder Boy game. I don't think I have. And I know that there were a couple either remakes or just new versions that came out before Monster Boy came out. I didn't play any of those either because I knew I never played Monster or Wonder Boy. I didn't have any nostalgia. It didn't seem like my kind of thing. So I just gave a pass to Monster Boy. But it's fine to just jump in. I didn't know anything about Wonder Boy. It's fine to just come into this game with no previous knowledge.
It's not a huge backstory.
I'm guessing.
No. But wait, can I say what I remember of mine?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Wonder Boy, I remember as like a little cherub-looking boy with like no pants, no shirt. Just kind of like a little. What do they call it? Oh, this is getting awkward real quick.
Man.
Like a little underwear or whatever, right? And he's just running around in his little cherub thing. And kind of like Ghosts and Goblins when you're like exposed and then you have to get like upgrades so you don't like die immediately.
Sure.
And it was a side scroller. And then you would turn into a dragon every once in a while. And then you'd be badass. And then you'd go back to like little Wonder Boy.
So that's that is like at its core basically the same thing, but it is pretty far removed from what that is. But I think they've taken that idea and just really ran a million miles with it. So you start off the game as just like this guy who's just like this kid in armor or something, looks like a little knight or whatever. Randomly he gets cursed, the entire kingdom gets cursed, everybody in the whole world gets turned into an animal, and he gets turned into a pig who can do magic. And so he's like, what the fuck? I don't want to be a pig. This sucks. I got to like undo this curse and blah, blah, blah. The story is not really the high point of this game. Not really the reason why we play this game. It's a 2D platformer / Metroidvania. It is not just a Metroidvania. It is not just a platformer. It is a combination of both. And the reason I say that is because you...
Sorry, I just was bringing up Wonder Boy on my phone. You weren't supposed to hear that.
Wow. Okay, I think we all heard that, Carlos. And
no, we didn't.
A little bit disappointed.
I might have edited this out of the podcast.
Anyway, what happens is the reason I say it's a platformer and Metroidvania, I want to call that out because this game is really, really smart in the way it's designed. It is largely a Metroidvania in that there's areas that you can't pass until you get a certain power. That's how Metroidvanias work. But it's not just about that, because as you're going to get the things that you need, they have really gone the extra mile to make each section really entertaining. So like you are using platformer skills on the way to get those things that you need in order to activate the Metroidvania part. And I feel like it's a really good balance, because you can go for a long section, feel like you're playing a really tight platformer, and then, you hit the Metroidvania part and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like here's a thing that I activate, whether it's the double jump or whether it's, whatever. And so they really have focused on both and balanced it really well. Like I don't feel like either part of the game suffers for the other one, which is pretty rare, because I've played a lot of Metroidvanias recently where it's boring. Like you're not doing anything except for finding that one item that unlocks the next section. But when you're actually on the way to get that thing, it's just, you're not doing anything exciting. Like really super basic combat, really super basic traversal. But here, like the combat is interesting. It's really fun and action packed. It takes some skill. There's lots of environmental puzzles and lots of environmental challenges where you really have to think about, how am I going to get to this piece, or what's going on in this particular section. Each section is different from the last section. So like you might be underwater for a minute here. You might be in the clouds over here. You might be dodging lava over here. You might be doing, ladder climbing here. You might be looking for moving blocks over here. I mean, like, I feel like every section has been something new, and they've all been like really interesting variations on platforming action, while also maintaining the whole getting stronger thanks to my Metroidvania upgrades and accessing more of the world thanks to those upgrades. So it's a wonderful balance. I mean, these guys are really smart in the way they've designed this, and it's been really interesting from start to finish.
How are you saving the game?
You come across these little portals every so often. They're marked on your map, and as long as you just step on one, you save your game.
Okay.
So it's super easy. I've never had a problem. If you die, you only get sent back like 30 seconds or something, and dying is like totally no big deal at all.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
There's no Dark Souls shit or no punishment like that.
Well, what's interesting about that, because a lot of those games, like early Wonder Boy and what's that other game? There's so many games that
Alex Kidd, I think
Alex
maybe
Kidd,
yeah.
And not Keith Courage, because that was better, because you turned into a robot, and that's for Super Graphics.
True.
Oh, it was awesome. But in a lot of games like that, it was really tough because you had lives. Remember?
Yeah.
It's if you had 3 lives and you were done, that was it. And so I like playing these types of games nowadays as an adult. Wow, I couldn't say adult, which means maybe I'm not one. Then you have a save feature, because then you don't want to rage quit.
Right. No. They get away from that really old school arcadey shit. Like they don't do any of that stuff. Like you have you have health points, but if you die, you just go back like a tiny little ways, and you can do it infinitely. There's no lives. There's no limit. You never go back to the game over screen or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like they want you to play this game. They want you to play it. They're not trying to punish you. They're not trying to, make you work hard for it. Although there is some skill necessary for some of these challenges. So I really like it. It feels very playable. All the powers are really interesting. You can transform into a number of different things so far. And that's what really makes the game come alive, is he starts off as this magic using pig who has a couple of different abilities. He becomes a teeny tiny little snake who can like spit venom.
Oh yeah, you were a snake in the old ones too.
Yeah, he becomes a snake to slide through little small areas. He can cling to grass and stuff. He becomes a frog that can like breathe underwater, and he can jump, and he's got his little tongue. It's like a grappling hook. he turns into like a lion who can charge really fast, like run across water and do this other stuff. I haven't gotten all the abilities yet, but each one puts a different spin on things and really changes the formula in a different way. And you're often like switching between them like really quickly. Like you might be the lion to like dash across some water. You get to the other side, but before you get there, you got to turn into the frog so that you can use his tongue to grab a hook to like pull yourself up. And then when you get to the top, turn back into the pig so you can like do some fire magic to kill the dude that's up there. And like it just keeps rolling, man. They never let you get into like a good a groove where you're just on autopilot. Like you're always thinking about your environment, you're always thinking about what's happening. It's very it's challenging, but in a good way. Like the environmental puzzles I think are really well done. You're constantly cycling through all your powers, thinking about different ways to move, different ways to activate things. And I have not been bored for like even 1 second. I have not been I just really impressed with everything they've done. I mean, it's great pacing. It hasn't slowed down. I'm constantly getting like something new to use or to equip or something like that. Different types of challenges in every section. And the graphics, dude, the graphics are great. I love the graphics. The hand-drawn cartoony style graphics are very smooth. I love the animation, and the idle animations are really great. There's lots of character to each creature that you can turn into. Just a beautiful looking game. I mean, everything about it is great. I have like zero complaints, zero criticism.
Wait, what's going on? What's happening? Are we in Bizarro World?
It is a great game, dude. They have fucking nailed this thing, and it's been wonderful. I'm about maybe 2/3 of the way through it, and I love it. It's a wonderful game.
Dude, you just said wonderful.
It is a wonderful game.
Wonder, boy, wonderful.
Oh shit, boy,
yeah,
that was good.
It was right
that
there.
Was good.
It's almost like our pun episode, but not as much.
Not as much.
Also, by the way, I don't know if you know, but I remember the old one. You could turn into a skateboard guy.
I'm guessing
they got rid of the
that sucked. No, we're
that
not doing that.
That was from the 80s. Yeah.
No radical skateboard, dude. No, thank you,
dude. But he had a helmet on. I remember that.
He was safe.
He was safe,
which I respect. But no, we don't do that this time.
Well, I'll check it out. It seems like it'd be a shorter game, probably. I'm guessing.
The guy that recommended it to me, he said that it was fairly long for this type of game, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through. I don't feel like it's been long at all. I feel like I'm still like really into it, but he said the last leg can be a little bit long. So, I mean, I guess probably 10 to 15 hours or something like that, but God, it's so good so far, dude. I'm loving this game. It's really, really good.
All right. I will check it out.
There we go. That was Monster Boy in the Cursed Kingdom, playing it on Switch. It was on sale for half off. It is no longer on sale. I'm sorry. It's full price. But man, what a kick-ass game. Wishlist that and grab that ASAP when it goes on sale. All right, now, we do have listener Q&A, but before we get to that, we get one more game to talk about, and I feel like we're probably going to be a little bit divisive on this one.
We're going to have a different opinion.
We might have a different opinion. I'm going to let you start off, Carlos, but we each recently purchased Snack World, the Dungeon Crawl Gold version, which just came to the Switch. That's where I'm playing it. I'm sure that's where you're playing it, correct?
Yep.
All right. So, Carlos, give us the quick rundown on Snack World, and we will get into it.
I have some pretty detailed notes for this because I wanted to kind of give the overview of like everything I experienced in the game, kind of what's in the game, and then Brad's going to shit on it.
I will totally shit all over this game. Absolutely.
That's the process of how this is going to go down.
Absolutely. Guaranteed.
So it is a 3/4 view action RPG. It has inklings and feelings of fantasy life, not this in complexity or that same type of game. It's more of just a loot grab game. You're going to kill a bunch of things, get a bunch of loot, make weapons, craft weapons, find weapons, buy weapons, and then essentially do a bunch of jobs for townsfolk. That's really what the game is, right? And you can also do co-op, couch co-op, which I'll tell you about my experience with that in a second. And you can also do online co-op. So they're selling this game as a go in there, don't leave, have fun. It's like an MMO almost in that way, where you're just going, getting a bunch of loot, upgrading your character, and there's definitely story. But if you guys have watched on YouTube, you can YouTube the anime for this game. And it's funny because it's comical first. Obviously, they're trying to be like more of a comedy anime and a comedy role-playing game. Because in the very beginning, after you make your character, they're like, there's no big dilemma you've got to solve. So, I don't know, hang out. Just go do things for people. And that's what you do the whole game. You're essentially doing chores for people, and then fantasy ensues. You have a smartphone which is, very modern. There's some modern touches in this game in that you can tell about all these different things in your inventory, and there's just almost too many menus in the phone.
I think there's definitely too many menus.
Yeah, and lots of times in the beginning of the game, you'll feel overwhelmed by permits because everybody gives you a permit to do something, and I feel like that's superfluous. That's the word of the day, superfluous. You have a section called the Jara section, which I'm not sure why it's called that, but it's just your weapon loadout. So you can have up to 6 weapons, and you load them up. And the interesting / thing that I don't like about the game is when you are using a weapon, you have stamina / durability type thing on each weapon. So after you use it for enough time, it gets down to 0 and you can't really use it anymore. So you have to switch to another weapon you have in your loadout, but then you can switch back to it. It's like a Monster Hunter sharpening your sword thing, right?
I mean, kind of, yeah. They just want you to cycle through weapons. They kind of force it on you.
I know. I don't know why that. So that's like one of the biggest things I don't like. Just because I love my two-handed weapon and I want to pick the one that I want to always use. So it's weird. Okay, so that's essentially what the game is. There's a lot of, again, in quotes, comedy. Some stuff falls flat. Some stuff is kind of interesting and funny. But the hook and what has me going is just that you just want more loot. If you're like a loot hunter and you want to just keep upgrading and doing things, that's what this game does, because there's a million side quests and then there's story quests, and you kind of do both of those. You can also capture monsters like Pokemon style. I don't know if you got to that, Brad, because you probably rage quit.
They talked about it, but I didn't replay enough of the levels to actually do that, which is something that we should probably talk about. But you can't just do it right off. You gotta kill a monster like 85,000 times.
It's not 85,000 times. I have like
4,000 times.
It's 83,000 times. No, you have to kill an enemy. I don't know. Let's say like realistic, like 30 times or something like that. Nothing very huge, because if you're grinding, it comes pretty quick. So I have all these little monsters. They call them snacks, essentially. Anybody who comes along with you on the ride, an NPC or a little monster, is called a snack. I don't know why. It's weird because I think about eating them every time. So I have like all these really interesting people. I have like this squirrel that has a swashbuckler hat on, and every time he attacks, he goes, "On God," which is adorable. And so, yeah, I go out with the NPCs, or you can go out with people. You take out dungeons. It's ridiculous. I'll say this about the co-op. So me and my friend Lelena, friend of the show, we're playing last night co-op. I hardly ever play couch co-op. You too, right? Like, it's very rare.
Yeah, not too often, for sure.
And it was so fun because you're like ribbing each other, being like, "No, over here. Oh, here's the monster. Oh, we got to do this." And we're just running around a dungeon, yelling at our switches and having fun and leveling up. And if she dies, you can go revive them. So there's a revive mechanic. And so I revive her, she revives me. We beat the thing, we high five, and it's a real good feeling. Like, if you have a friend who just wants to get a bunch of loot and likes action RPGs, I would say, minus whatever Brad's about to say, it's really, really fun for that. Like, take away everything, right? Take away the systems, take away the things that we're going to talk about that we both might not like. Having a couch co-op game that's an action RPG, 2 people sitting down somewhere, it's really fun for that. Like, I feel like it's good for that. So that's a bunch of my stuff. I have more things to say, but I want to give Brad the floor to just...
Are you sure you want to give it to me so soon?
Well, you're not going to take it forever. Just lay down some feces, and then I'll come back.
Oh, man. Yeah, this game is garbage, dude. It's hot garbage. I'm really mad that I paid for this, because I don't pay full price for games too often, but I got suckered into this. Not that you suckered me, but I had you and a couple other people that I knew were really excited about this, and they were all going to jump in at the same time, and we were talking about doing online, and I like a good dungeon crawl. I do. I like a dungeon crawl. I loved Fantasy Life on 3DS. I thought that game was great. And this looks, if you watch the trailers, it looks a lot like Fantasy Life. It's from the same developer. Level 5 is included in this. And so I was like, oh, man, like, if this is Fantasy Life Part 2, I'm down. Like, I want more of that for sure. It's not even remotely the same thing as Fantasy Life, which is really disappointing. And maybe that was me assuming too much based on a trailer, but it really did kind of give me those vibes.
Well, I was going to say that lots of times for video games, we've said this on the show before, is expectation. So if you were like really coming in from that, like, it was never going to be that.
I mean, it could have been similar, but even putting my desire for more fantasy life aside, this game is just garbage. It's really terrible. Nothing about it is good. I mean, I don't really care for the writing at all. I think it's not funny a bit. And when I went into the cafe and it's the Cov Fifi cafe, I was like, you guys can just fuck right off with this. Like,
Now, I'm equally as mad about that.
Yeah, I do not appreciate any kind of Trump references in my game. It's not cool to name that. I don't like that at all. But that aside, I don't think the jokes are funny. I think it's really boring writing and just really punny and dumb. But putting that aside, like the mechanics are not great. I don't think the combat feels very good. I feel like the way that the enemies, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I felt like the enemies often get priority for strikes. And so like when you come in to try to time it, maybe it gets different with better weapons as you go. But like with the starting weapons, the enemies were often getting priority to hit, and I was taking like a lot of damage, and I'm like, this does not feel good. Like I was not able to click with the combat to where it felt intuitive and natural. I felt like I was really struggling with it. I didn't like that at all. The other thing I didn't like is that the grind kicks in like immediately, and it's not a good kind of grind. It's not a fun kind of grind. Like they want you to craft weapons and armor and stuff, and like I was replaying the first set of levels multiple times, and I still wasn't able to get the things that I needed for like the very starting pieces of armor. I mean, I was still like in like my starting suit for like a long time, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm just replaying the same levels that I do. I even had to replay some of the tutorial levels to try to get some of those components, and I'm like, this is not fun. Like, this is just not fun. Like, it would be better if this was like a randomly generated dungeon or something.
Wait, they are though, by the way. They are procedurally generated dungeons. Each one is different. So
how are they procedurally generated? Because I was going back to replay those areas and they seemed exactly the same to me.
No, because every time I would go in, I'd be like, where are we going again now? Yeah, the dungeons are, because it's actually, that's the thing I don't like, because I would much rather know where I'm going. But one of my biggest pet peeves, to kind of pile onto your shitstorm, is that because it's like random and they're really, really big dungeons, it becomes annoying if you're looking for one specific thing. Like you were saying, like you might have to click something. Because in this game, it also has doors, like magical doors, and buttons. And so sometimes you have to hit like 3 buttons to open up the doorway to go down a level in the dungeon. Sometimes you have to hit 2 buttons. It doesn't tell you why or when. And then sometimes there's a magical door that you go inside and get treasure. Sometimes a magical door brings you to your quest area. And it doesn't tell you that either. So yeah. I think the biggest problem, because I heard some things you said earlier, they're actually not true, but it's like, I think they did such a bad job of explaining what to do sometimes. People think that's true.
Well, which part do you think wasn't true? Because if I'm incorrect, I mean, please feel free to correct me, but I'm going off of what I played. So what did I say that was not true?
No, and I didn't mean that, because I wanted to clarify. Like, I think there was, at some point, I thought I had to grind, but I was just like in the wrong area. And if I would have went to this one door, the quest would have been over. So I'm not sure if that's what happened with you, but there's a few different times where I thought I was supposed to, I guess I haven't got this thing that I need, because it says go do this thing and get this thing. But it was actually me just going into a certain doorway and then getting to a boss and beating the little mini boss. And then I got the thing I was looking for.
I mean, possibly, but let me describe what I recall. So, like, I wanted to make one of the very it's like one of the first suits of armor that you get. Like, it's like starting armor +1. Like, it's nothing fancy, and they teach you like, oh, you need to have these different components to make it. And I'm like, okay, fine. One of the things I needed was like a feather. One of the things I needed was like a bottle of sand. And so I look at the levels that you can choose from, and it tells you like what is it possible for you to get in these levels. And one level was like the feather, and one level was the sand. And so I would go and like grind in that level. Did not get either one of those things. And I go back and leave because I'm just like, I didn't get the fucking thing I needed, and I just wasted like all that time. And I come back to the menu, and like it clearly says this is where this stuff is. And so I'm like, it's just a random drop, I guess. Never got the stuff that I needed, and I didn't want to play those levels anymore because, I mean, there's also like this gacha element. Now in Japan, there was like a whole line of like merchandise that you could buy. Like it was like, those Japanese blind bag things where like,
I love all of them. Yes, I'm a big fan.
I hate those. I hate those things.
See, that's why. Okay.
If I buy those, I buy the entire box because I want the whole set, right? I don't want to just hope to buy the one that I need, or maybe I buy the same one like 3 times because you don't know what you're getting. So they had like this whole like merchandise thing. They took that out and just added those mechanics into the game. I don't think it works, dude, because like when I was, it's really unclear about this, and I didn't figure it out till later, but you know, you have the chance to get some of these weapons or like the items when you do these levels, but like it's not guaranteed, and so you're just like doing it over and over and over, hoping to get the thing that you want, and that feels like a fucking waste of time.
No, it is, but let me go back to the armor thing real quick. So there's no main quest line, no main story quest, because if you just want to progress in the game, that makes you make armor. Like, so that's where there might be confusing. Like, there's never you've got to make armor to progress.
No, I just wanted to because I was dying too fast. I was just trying to just level up. I wanted something better.
Yeah. So again, it's how you get there. So by doing enough story quests, you end up unlocking certain things. Yes, some of it's random, but I always felt pretty okay. Again, I don't know how I did my build versus yours. There's traits in this game, right? So like fortitude, charm, all that kind of shit.
Skills,
and I put everything immediately as I do as a melee build all the time into fortitude. So I had like more defense and more strength. And so that might have helped me, but I really don't. I feel like we had 2 different experiences because I didn't think the enemies were super hard. I had my 2 double blade axe weapon thingy, and I really just cleaned house. And I literally didn't grind in this game until I wanted to. Like, I did story quests, didn't go, because yes, if I would have tried to get some of the armor for like my hat that I wanted and all these different things that needed specific things, I would have like gone crazy. So I would recommend anybody playing this, don't like specifically go for things. I feel like just do the story quest for a while, because then you end up getting a ton of resources. And then when I went to my inventory screen, it said, hey, did you know you can make this thing? And then I just made it, right? Yeah, so I feel like that's a different way of approaching it. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I think that I went to just story quest first.
That is good advice. That is really good advice. But what's even better advice is to just not play this game because it's garbage.
Okay.
I just didn't like the way it played. I didn't like the way it felt to play. I didn't think it was interesting. There's like a million games that have similar mechanics that do it all better, and I just didn't see any reason to keep progressing in it. So I had a really negative experience with it. I was very unhappy with my purchase. I feel like I wasted my $50, and I'm really mad that I spent it because I could have bought 10 much better indies on the Switch that I probably would have enjoyed more than this piece of shit game. So I'm very unhappy with this game. I do not think it's good. I do not recommend it to anyone for any reason at all.
You're entitled to your opinion. I highly recommend it, and say if you like action RPGs, and especially if you want to do one with a co-op with a friend, I think it's great. Here's a pro tip. This is really, really important, and then we can leave Snack World for now.
Sure.
Pro tip. In the first dungeon, you have to go kill Medusa. It's the big bad boss, the first boss, right? There's a way to beat it. You'll figure that out. But I was dying because I wasn't finding the way to the Medusa, because again, a lot of these dungeons are like, it's so hard to find where you're supposed to go. You've got to find these little buttons, hold down the buttons, and that will open up different levels. And then you can find magical doors and you'll find Medusa. I, again, hate how some of the dungeons are structured. But the key is you have to do all that with a time limit, because if you didn't know that, at some point I just kept dying, and like this guy would show up and he'd be like, he literally says, hey buddy, I'm just doing my job. He just like one-shots me. He like one-shots me, and I'm like, what? And I couldn't even heal. And I was like, what did I do? Terrible job of explaining that, right? But I think it's hilarious that he said, buddy, I'm just doing my job. And then he goes, you should have found it by now. So he was giving me the idea there was a time limit, you know? So then I went back in there, was more like, you can actually run by enemies. Pro tip number 2. You literally don't have to fight anybody in those dungeons, which is interesting. You can run and roll and get to the area that you want to get to. So I did that the second time and got to Medusa much quicker with all my health items. It's again, it sounds convoluted how it is, and it isn't explained right.
No,
but
they don't explain jack shit in this game. It's got a million text logs that you're supposed to read that are supposed to be quote unquote tutorials. They don't explain anything.
I didn't read anything though. I mean, it's hit A and roll out of the way. I mean, if you like rinse and repeat, you want to grind and loot and get loot. That's all I do. And every once in a while, by the way, because I'm playing more of the story than you are, there's some funny, interesting things that start popping up. You know, like. Well, I won't go into them, but I will also say this. It's the same mechanic as Cat Quest. So I am a very big fan of Cat Quest RPG, and it is almost the same mechanics of attack, roll out of the way, attack, roll out of the way. So for me, I was just like cleaning house because I've been playing that style of game forever.
Yeah.
Anyways, listen to Brad if you like Brad's opinion. Listen to me if you like my opinion, and choose for yourself.
Don't waste your $50.
No, choose for yourself, Brad.
Don't waste your $50. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. We we asked our listeners last week a question, and we got some great responses that we are about to discuss in a second. But before we do that, Carlos, can you please, for the listeners, recap what our question was?
I forgot our question.
Oh, God.
Wait. Let me think about it. It was... No, I don't remember.
It was... If you could make any sort of a game that doesn't exist, what kind of game would it be?
Right. That one.
So pretend that Carlos said that and recapped it for us. Thank you very much, Carlos.
You're welcome.
And we got wonderful responses. So thank you, everybody who chimed in. Carlos, do you oh, you know what?
I don't have these in front of me, so I'm going off of what you're saying.
You don't have the list. Okay, I'm going to send you the... Oh, shit. Well,
you could just read them, and then I can, comment.
Man, okay. Sorry, folks. I thought I sent Carlos a list. I didn't send the Carlos list. I did it for myself.
I like being I'll be the comedy, and then you read it, and I'll say something funny.
Okay, fine. All right. We're going to roll with it. First one comes from Elijah Bame. He says, one of my dream projects would be to create a short immersive sim all about living with anaphylactic allergies.
Whoa.
Maybe randomize what allergens the player has for each playthrough, make them realize how freaking crazy living with lethal allergies is.
That's kind of like a learning game. So teaching people what it's like to be in their shoes.
Definitely educational. I would wonder though, let's say for example that Elijah's character has peanut allergies. Would it be, he said a short immersive sim. Would that be just going through life trying to decide what has peanuts in it? Or would there be giant enemies shaped like peanuts that you would have to avoid?
Now, I think it's like a Sims kind of situation where you're going through life and seeing how many times it could be a problem. That's that's. I
mean, it's kind of scary. If you go to a restaurant and my wife's father recently discovered that he is deathly allergic to almonds. He got through his entire life apparently never having an almond. I don't know how that happened.
Whoa.
Totally fucking true story, dude. He's 60 or something. Got through his whole life. I guess he never met an almond. And then I was not with him, but he went out to dinner with some friends, had something that had almonds on it, and he almost died. He fucking, his throat got, big and swollen and couldn't breathe, and they EMTs had to bring him an EpiPen and stab him with it and stuff. So it was a total out of the blue. And I imagine that if you have allergies like that, living life must be pretty scary at times. You never know if the next bite you're going to eat is going to have something that you shouldn't have. That's kind of scary.
Well, I would say this though, kind of as a side tangent. I think that we're in such a great time for indie games right now that there are so many games that do share perspectives of other people, right? We're getting that all the time now. So, it's a good time for him to make that game.
Interesting. And I bet that no one in the world has had that idea. I've never heard that thrown out at a game jam or anything like that. So, next one comes from Courtney Craven from Can I Play That? I love that site. She says, I will always hold out hope for Susan's dream of AAA game to be presented in ASL, American Sign Language, to be made without English subtitles, just to be able to tell the people mad about it that not all games are meant for everyone.
Oh, that's kind of spiteful, but okay.
I love that because honestly, dude, so Can I Play That is a great site. It's one of the very few sites, Game Critics is also one, where we have information for people who are deaf and hard of hearing. And their site specifically focuses on, everything that a deaf person would need to know about whether they can play a game or not. How are the subtitles? What do they look like? Are there audio cues? How friendly is it? It's a great resource. I love their website. And it was started by, she said, Susan, who was One Odd Gamer Girl on Twitter. She is no longer with us. She actually died recently. So rest in peace, Susan. She wrote for Game Critics a couple times, and we were friends on Twitter. But she's the one who started that. She was deaf herself. And, when you talk about accessibility for games, there's always some asshole who comes out and says, yeah, but not everybody can play every game, so deal with it.
Right.
And it's fuck off. I get it. You cannot make blind people see a painting. You cannot make deaf people hear music, but there are things you can do. And if you don't do those things, you're an asshole. And those people out there, there's a lot of guys out there who, and it's always guys, who are just yeah, fuck you. It's not for you. So what? Get over it. And it's yeah, but we can make things accessible. We can share these experiences. We don't need to wall people off from these things. And it just really fucking gets my goat. And I'm sure that a lot of people in the accessibility community feel the same way. So to have a game that would be totally inaccessible to other people and then tell them to fucking fuck off, I'm all for it.
Yeah, do it. That's good. It would give it a whole line of games.
Absolutely. I mean, just to have people experience that. If you're a person who has both eyes working fine, both ears working fine, your body works fine, you can hold a controller no problem, you can play any game you want to play, you can watch any movie you want to watch, you can do anything you want to do, that's great. But have some sympathy for people who are not in your situation. There's a lot of people out there who are not as fortunate as you.
Dude, what was that game where you played as a blind character? Remember?
There's a couple of those.
And you could only hear the sounds or feel the sounds or something.
Yeah. There's some games that are starting to be made like that have like no graphics at all, but just sounds, which is pretty interesting. But I mean, all I'm saying is, if you can do things, that's great. And I'm happy for you. But have empathy for people who maybe are not as able as you are, and like don't shit over them, man. Like don't be a fucking asshole about it.
Yep.
All right. Next one comes from Matt Paprocki. Says, I've always wanted a Godzilla or generic giant monster military sim. It's like Ace Combat, but you're fighting the monster. Or maybe a tank sim, but really the whole goal would just really be to survive.
Oh, wait, Earth Defense Force.
Kind of like Earth Defense Force, maybe. I don't know that I guess you can fly a little bit.
Yeah.
But maybe like more of a military sim. So maybe like you'd have to take like a, mechanically accurate F-16 or something up against, Fantasy Lizard or whatever.
Flight Simulator versus Godzilla.
That would be kind of cool, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting. Okay. Next one comes from Fiddlesticks, but it's all like the I is like a number 1 and the S is like a number 5. Says, I'm close on this, but what I've wanted to see is a game where World War II gets interrupted by a dragon invasion, so kind of echoing that first one we just listened to there, and you have to dogfight them all in F-6 Hellcats flying from the last aircraft carrier on the planet.
Whoa.
That sounds like a movie I'd like to watch.
Yeah, it sounds like a movie that's already made almost in some way.
I wonder if someone has made that movie, because that seems like something you could do. I would like that, like modern technology versus fantasy technology. It's an interesting dichotomy there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Joshua Jackson, the mailman with calves of steel, a frequent listener. Hello, Joshua Jackson. Says, this may be a thing already, but what about a game about delivering mail and all the trials and tribulations that can ensue? I don't know, Joshua. Maybe you should tell us about that. I would love to hear your stories.
I mean, it's not the same, but Paperboy exists in the world.
I'm glad you said that, because literally the next sentence says, fuck Paperboy. He's trash and no one reads the paper anymore anyway.
It's true. But he was like going to homes and doing something and then trying to get away from things. So, the mailman. Oh, my goodness. Is there not one?
I mean, that would be kind of cool if you were like parkour mailman and there was like obstacles and like hazards and shit. That may be kind of cool.
That I can imagine every house could be a new obstacle, right? Like, so one house is like they have a meth lab and there's like criminals. One house is like just a happy family, but maybe some weird thing like a ball comes flying out and you like could trip over it. Like each house could have its own dilemma. I now love this idea.
What if there was a house that was like super vertical and the mailbox was like at the top of like a tower and you had to like find a way to scale the tower? That would get old if that was like on your route every day, but man, you would be so buff and in shape if you like had to climb that shit every day.
Oh yeah.
Josh, I feel like this is ripe, Joshua. You gotta let us know your ideas, man. I want to talk some more about this.
Someone should make that in Construct or something, like a 2D platformer. I think that would work well too.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful idea. I love that one. Finder says, a game where you develop homes and you have objectives like low costs, minimal space, or maximum efficiency / minimum carbon footprint, and you can see the effect of an area's homelessness, economy, and climate when it's used.
Ooh, I like that part of it a lot.
Wow, talk about hardcore sim. That seems pretty cool. If you could do that like on a small scale, like neighborhood planning or something, I bet a lot of SimCity folks would be into this one, especially with... What?
No, I was going to say there is a game that does something like this. I will research it afterwards. It's a Sim City type game, and they look at your carbon footprint, and they look at the kind of green effect that you have. I'll find it. There's something like this, so this game might exist. Something like.
Okay, so maybe this game exists. Okay, maybe Finder's in some luck. All right, we're going to do some so Video Games first. We're going to actually do some research and find out.
I'll do my first bit of research. All right, I'm writing a note.
Next one comes from Elio Campitelli, and he says, I'm reading Icelandic Sagas, and an RPG that really captures both the complicated legal system and the ultra-violence would be awesome.
Wow.
I didn't know that was a thing in Iceland. I didn't know they had sagas over there.
I didn't either.
And they have legal system plus ultra-violence. That's... I mean, is that probably something like there was a couple. What is that one where you had to survive? You had to take a band of Vikings and
Northgard?
No, it was a story-based game that was super popular. I didn't like it at all, but a lot of people loved it, and it has 3-part story. Oh my god, and I'm forgetting it.
We'll do research. We'll research it. I know I can think of it, but I can't think of the name.
Oh my god, I apologize, folks. My recall on games that I don't like is terrible, and I didn't like that one, but this, whatever. I'm sure Elio's played it already. Next one, Thief of Hearts. Good friend Thief of Hearts says a superhero turn-based JRPG using original characters in a warped comic book Earth set 15 minutes into the future, which is very soon. Earthbound meets Mass Effect in Astro City.
Well, now they have me at Earthbound because, come on. And I always want more games in the present, so love that. I like a lot of this.
I would play this. I mean, I like Mass Effect. I kind of like the idea of Astro City. Earthbound, I see where the humor's coming in. I mean, I'd be down for this.
It's a lot of work. I'm seeing it in my head right now. That's a big game.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe it's like an MMO possibly, or maybe he said turn-based.
No. I want it to be
So maybe that would be the hook then. Is like you would have like a bunch of powers that you would choose from a menu rather than the action route that people usually go. So okay, that might be a different spin. You have to make a JRPG. I can see that working.
I'm in.
I'm in too. Next one comes from Rowan Carmichael. He says a turn-based Umehara Kawase grappling hook RPG. Have you played those games, Carlos?
No, not yet. I keep putting them off. But
do you know what they are? Have you seen them before?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, for people that don't know, Umehara Kawase is a really cult niche Japanese game. It's a 2D platforming thing where you have a fishing pole that you cast your grappling hook out with your fishing pole. You grab stuff and you have to use it to climb up, and you grab things, and everything is a fish in that game with feet, and then you have like lots of platforms you can fall. But the weird thing about it is that the line from your fishing pole is like a rubber band. It's not just like a regular grappling hook, and so you have to contend with how much it fucking stretches and bounces. I love the idea of this game, and I fucking hate playing this game. I've played 3 different ones in the series. Never clicked with any of them. In fact, I just played one a couple days ago on the Switch. Did not like it. I like the idea, do not like it in practice, but if it was turn-based, maybe I'd be down for that. That might get rid of the rubber band shit that I don't like. Brian Thiessen says, I would like the return of arcade-style sports games, NBA Jam, NFL Blitz, and so forth. Carlos?
Yeah, I mean, I got a little... Because they brought NBA Jam back a little while ago and kind of did a HD remaster or whatever of it. And I was like, oh, I don't want to play this anymore. As I was playing it, And then, and for the record, I beat Dan Shu. He's going to tell you otherwise. If you ever hear Shu...
You mean from EGM?
Yeah, and now from everything. He's all over.
He's around.
We did a whole video, and anyways, I beat him. I don't know. I miss the snowboarding games and the extreme sports games that way, but not the NBA as much.
Speaking of which, did you play Steep that came out a couple years ago? That's kind of a snowboarding game. Did you like that one?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
That was free on PSN for a while. I think I picked it up, but I never tried it. I'll have to give it a go. Those were all the rage in the 90s, man. All the extreme sports. Those kind of went away, but...
Oh, you know what? I'll give him this. If you want some arcade action, basketball or whatever, Arch Rivals, I want that to come back.
Arch Rivals. Man, that is a deep cut from back in the day.
Do you remember what it is?
Oh, yeah, totally. I saw that back in the arcade. I never played it because I'm not a basketball fan.
Well, basically what it is...
It was a 2-on-2, wasn't it?
You can, it was 2 or 3 or 4 on... I think maybe it was 3-on-3. But it was, you could punch people and, pull their pants down and stuff.
Yeah.
And they'd trip, and then you'd laugh at them and dunk on them. It was great.
Makes any basketball game better, just like in real life. Zolbrod says, I've always wanted a JRPG where battles are Street Fighter style 1-on-1 or maybe Marvel vs. Capcom style 3-on-3. You learn new skills as you level up and get to customize your super combos, add different elements to moves, and so forth. It would be like World Tour mode in Street Fighter Alpha 3, but with dungeons and exploration.
Whoa. Yeah, you need to get a license for that.
You'd have to. The license would be really expensive.
Yeah.
I dig that idea, though, because there hasn't really been a lot of games. I mean, maybe you know of something, Carlos, that I don't know of, but they haven't really, when you get a JRPG with a turn-based system, it's always like cast fire, heal, defend, or whatever, but you don't really do like fighting moves. I wonder like how intricate you could go with that, like whether you could do like a counter, sweep, and like have different elements to, like he's saying here, 1-on-1 or 3-on-3. There might be something to that. This is kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, you mean like it's like you're changing up your moveset to a lot more things in that style of a game.
I like the concept of taking something that is traditionally real-time and in fact very fast Twitch-based action and turning it into a menu turn-based thing. I've always been kind of fascinated when people do that. I think that might be a very interesting thing to explore. So
yeah,
any developers listening, take Zolbrad's idea and run with it. Sounds cool.
By the way, we got a lot of responses to our questions when we do questions. We should probably do them every week.
We should probably do them. I have one coming up that I actually would like to suggest to you in a second. But we have one final comment before we get there. This comes from Game Critics OG alumni and chief engineer Richard Nyack. He says, I want a Boba Fett / Mandalorian game made by the Witcher people. Gimme space Geralt.
Done.
That's a gold idea.
Okay,
Richard.
the mailman and that one are my favorite of all.
I mean, dude, yeah, get CD Projekt Red to make a Mandalorian game, like flying around fucking Star Wars and doing shit, side quests and all that.
And guess who shows up? Baby Yoda.
That would be amazing. I would love that.
And
Richard, gold
idea. And also, if anyone has not seen Mandalorian yet, please watch it. It's really good.
Okay, so those were all the responses. Thank you very much for everybody chipping in, folks. And since people seem to like doing the Q&A so much, I think we should continue. I agree with you 100%, Carlos. I have, if you don't mind, a topic that I would like to float to people this week.
Please.
One question that I would like to ask you folks, dear listeners, and please send us your responses. What game or games have you started many times and never, ever finished? Has there been a game that you feel like you want to finish it, you feel like you want to roll credits, you like it a lot, you come back to it a couple times, but you never fucking get there? What game has you started many, many times and never finished? I would love to hear about it.
I have an answer for you I just thought of.
Save it for next week. Write it down. We will talk about it.
I was all excited to say it out loud.
Save it. We'll talk about it next week.
Right, I do have an answer to that question.
Okay, good. I got one too. But we'll get there. So, folks, let us know. I'm going to tweet this also. We'll tweet it afterwards. We're almost at the end of the show, but before we wrap, we got to come back to another one of Carlos's trademark segments, Carlos's Eye on Game Field, where we talk about things coming up. There's a sound that no one knows. Random beeping sound.
The kids are like, why is he doing Morse code?
You don't know what it is unless you're like 60. Carlos, what has got your attention this week in Game Field?
Well, being 60, to start... it hurts. It hurts everywhere.
It hurts everywhere.
Kids, I won't say don't get old, but just beware when you do. You wake up and sometimes you're like, oh, now my knee hurts for some reason. I haven't
wear yourself out just being on the couch.
No, sometimes you can just literally, this is tangent now, you can like lay the wrong way. When you get old enough, you lay the wrong, and you wake up and you're like, oh, interesting, my leg's just going to hurt now.
Yep.
Okay, fucking life. Anyways. Mosaic. I'm looking at Mosaic. It is on my PS4. I'm about to download it probably tonight. I think it's a shorter game. It is a really beautiful art style, not pixel. It's its own art style, dark shade. Think Limbo. Okay, think Limbo. It seems like an adventure game. You're going through this weird, like totalitarian. I can never say that. Totalitarian. Say it for me.
Totalitarian.
That state. Where everything's kind of, the same. It just, you drone on, you do the same thing every day, you go to the same job. It doesn't seem like anybody can, be different, right? And the idea is that he's going to encounter something that's going to change his life and make him see outside of this drone-y kind of world. It looks beautiful.
Is it vaping?
It's not vaping.
Okay, good, because I was going to say.
It's called, that's illegal, right? No, it's illegal, but you shouldn't do it. Kids don't vape.
Don't do it. Not the vanilla, especially. That's the one that kills people.
Don't do any of it. Mosaic, check out that game. Here's the other thing. Speed dating for ghosts.
I just saw this. Yes.
It's on Switch. It's a dating sim with monsters and ghosts. And it's an interactive game, which is all I'm about now. Interactive fiction. I think there's multiple endings or multiple outcomes. The art style is really great and simple. I will probably play that. Check that out.
I just saw that last night, dude. If my plate wasn't full, I would have downloaded that immediately because speed dating with ghosts. What else do you need to know? What that
else
title sells it all.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And then I just saw an opening movie that is almost nothing. It just looks like a lot of colors and stuff. But the theme of what it is, it's a game called Haven, and it's an RPG adventure about love and freedom.
Whoa, okay. Those are two of my favorite things.
Yeah, and that's the line. And then the actual trailer, if you look it up, Haven RPG, just look that up. It doesn't really show anything, really no gameplay or anything. But that line caught my attention for Carlos's eye and games field. RPG adventure about love and freedom. Sign me up.
It's a good start.
And last thing is Switch Up YouTube channel. He sometimes puts up Switch sales. So if you want a quick compilation of what's on sale, check out this YouTube channel Switch Up. And that's nice. Yeah, I found out a bunch of sales just from him doing that. So thanks for doing that, buddy.
And the Switch has banana sales. You would be well informed to keep up on those things. It's well worth your time to stay in the loop on those sales.
And that is Eye on Game Sale.
Excellent. And that also brings us to the end of the show. Thank you very much for listening, folks. Carlos and I will be back next week with another episode. In the meantime, as always, we love your questions or comments. Or if you have a suggestion for our question of the week, please reach out. SoVideoGamesPodcast@gmail.com. You can always post comments for us at GamingCritics.com once the show goes up there. And we are on Twitter collectively @SoVideoGames, but you can also reach us individually. Carlos, what are you pimping this week?
Just go back and check out my game, Hero and Cat, HIRO and CATT on Itch.io, or just Google it, and it actually comes up now in Google. So all you have to do is Google Hero and Cat. Please play my game. I think you might like it.
Go check out Carlos's game, and it's free, correct?
It is free. It's a browser-based game, and new episodes are being written as we speak.
Literally right now.
Yep.
As for me, I do not have a game up on Itch.io. Maybe later, not right now, but you can find me on Twitter or Instagram. It's my name, BRADGALLAWAY, all A's, no O's. And that is it for us. Thank you so much for listening to the So Video Games podcast. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next week. In the meantime, this is bye from Brad.
And bye from Carlos, because I know how to do it now. That's how you wanted me to do it this whole time, right?
Right.